Hey, so today I have a fun one to talk about that has been a question in the community for quite some time now, and it is how do I set the default value of a data type variable to the current date? So right now with variables, right, we love them, but unfortunately when you're setting a date variable, the default value is just some static value that you choose. You can't choose it to be current date or something based on a data set. And so today what I'm going to show you is using a couple different tools, including Domo's product APIs and workflows and code engine. You can actually create a utility that will update the default value to be today's date or whatever date you'd like. And so in this case, to show what the final product is, if we look here, this is a card that has a date variable on it, and you can see it has yesterday's date that was manually set. And just to come in here to show the variable, right? We have this default date, and so we want to avoid doing this, right? Selecting it manually. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to kick off a workflow. And this workflow, ideally, you would just time it to be every day, right? Let's say 12:01 a.m. hits, and we kick off this workflow. But in this case, let's kick off this workflow real quick. So we're going to start it. And what it's going to do is it is going to change the default date on this variable. So let's refresh this page and see if it worked. And it did. Awesome. So now it's 6/6. And let's just go in here to make sure that it worked properly, just to show you that there's no funny business going on. We do have a default value, has changed to today's date. So that means that the workflow worked properly. So the only consideration, a couple considerations that I want to talk about. The first one is that there is a Domo stats report called variables, where you can actually take this ID and you can get information about your variable. So, if I wanted to get information about this variable here, I would paste it into this product API. And then this right here is the variable definition. And this expression key and value right here is actually what the default's going to be on the variable. So in this case, I know that my date variable was 4072. So I can look at the variable definition and see that the expression, the default date is 6/6. And so in my workflow and code engine, what I actually did was I simply took this payload, updated the expression date to be today's date, and then did a put request with it back to this same endpoint right here. And so that's kind of the technical aspects of behind the scenes. What this workflow is doing is it has a code engine part that just takes that product API, this guy here, and updates it. And so this part here was kind of fun to figure out. Again, the way I figured these out is just by sniffing network traffic as I'm updating variables, and then finally figure out what the API is in the background. That's how you can figure out product APIs. But the end goal is fixing this, right? We can now set the default value of a data type variable to today's date by having a workflow run every day at the beginning of the day to change and update the default date. So hope you found this helpful. Thanks.